What's poppin', everybody? This is Say Wolfire 4. It's gonna be a long video, but I hope you guys bear with me. Every now and again, I go really deep in thoughts about great games, great Pokemon games especially. You know, their epicness, their amazingness, and why we really love them so much. And it got me thinking about this once again, and instead of just thinking about it, now that I make YouTube videos, because I wasn't always making them, I thought instead of just thinking about it, I just put my thoughts into voice, just get them out, and you guys can listen to them if you want to. So, Pokemon Sword and Shield is going to be coming. It was announced somewhere in March, I don't remember. We didn't get any new information so far, but like with every start of the Pokemon generation, they make the reveal trailer, the first new information pops up, the hype is real. People always think that maybe these are going to be super amazing Pokemon games, going to top the previous ones, every last one of them, and the hype is real. It was like this in when X and Y was going to come out, especially Sun and Moon, and right now is the same situation with Sword and Shield. Before X and Y, things were kind of different because Japan basically had the games that were already out, and we already knew everything kind of when they came out. It's just a different time, and I don't really remember. I knew everything when I learned about Black and White. The Pokedex was already out, everything was out. Kind of a similar thing with maybe DP and the other ones. I was very young back then too. Not super young, but definitely much younger. So I don't remember everything. But the hype is definitely real with Sword and Shield. Now, the hype is always sort of up in the air, but the question is it going to meet expectations or is it just going to be another Pokemon game? They did say in the trailer, Omori said that they're going to do everything they can to top the previous games and make this like the best Pokemon game yet. And of course they're going to say that shit, but the question is what's going to happen? And this brings me to the title of the video, so we can get to the actual topic. What truly makes an amazing Pokemon game? And this doesn't just extend to Pokemon. This extends to RPG games, maybe some action games in general, and I'll give you guys some examples too, and give you the similarities. So, in my opinion, Pokemon was at its peak when it was through Gen 1 through Gen 4, let's say. And it was when Gen 5 came around where things started to decline. Gen 5 wasn't terrible, and it definitely isn't as modern, you could say, as how the 3DS games were, where they hold your hand and everything is kind of just simplified and doesn't really have that charm to it. But it definitely when that sort of feeling started to be created. So Pokemon games to me, they were epic because of the mystery aspect to them, and the fact that you made your own story. Like, remember, I wasn't really around when Red and Blue were first released. I didn't get those games. I never owned the original Red, Blue, and Yellow. I don't think I didn't even have like a Game Boy. Like the first handheld console I had was Game Boy Advance. Even though those games were around when I was young, I didn't get to play them. I didn't had the controller, the handheld. But if you check around on the internet, people always talk about the amazingness, the mystery behind Mew, and how you got it in the game, and the whole truck thing, where the SS and was. And back then, before the internet was around and you could have access to everything, it was that wonder, that sort of mystery of we didn't really know everything, and we just imagined and tried, and people would say random shit. I kind of experienced that with Ruby and Sapphire. I live in Cyprus, so it's a whole different thing when it comes to the internet and when things were modern. Like the stuff that was basically hot everywhere else, it kind of took a while for us to get there. So I sort of experienced that with Ruby and Sapphire. Growing up, didn't really get internet yet, even computers, and we would play Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire, imagine a lot of shit, and we would just find out about things as we played, and then maybe somebody, maybe they did have internet or they knew a few tricks. They knew about, the Reggies, trying to get them in the game and unlock them basically, and all that process. And it just really makes those games very memorable to me and very, very majestic, maybe wondrous like that. And this doesn't just extend to these games. One of my favorite games of all time, Mega Man Battle Network 3, Blue and White. I've played that game recently. I played Blue many, many years ago, and it always bothered me that I could never like get all the chips, fight the Omega Navis, and do all that stuff. If you guys are familiar with that game, so I bought White, a used copy, a couple of months ago. I played that to completion, slowly but surely, and fighting the Omega Navis basically did almost everything that you could possibly do in that game. But it's also a similar situation with the Pokemon games in that I played that during a time where you really didn't know everything, and then when you find out stuff on the internet, it's just a game with so many intricate hidden things and so many mysterious things you can do, secret areas, hidden bosses, a lot of content, and a lot of sort of epicness, majesty to it. It's just really hard to put my finger on it and explain it to you guys. Yeah, especially in English. It's not my first language. But that game, you just go along, you play it, you do everything that you got to do. It not only has an amazing story, but it's filled with content. And you find out about all the hidden things. I was finding about so many different things from a website called RPG Classics. It's got everything you really need to know about a game like Mega Man Battle Network 3. And I heard that Battle Network 2 is also very good. It gives it a run for its money. 3. I'm probably going to try it someday, but not now. But yeah, those games are probably the best in the whole Mega Man Battle Network series. But anyways, it's just many similarities with Pokemon though. It doesn't hold your hand. It's got a lot of secrets, and it lets you to discover them. And a lot of the Pokemon games that have a lot of legendaries hidden, a lot of sort of quests hidden, and just doesn't hold your hand really. You make your own story. You can do everything. Of course, there is a story in Ruby and Sapphire and Emerald, but it's not really, it doesn't really get in the way. You can go through the story and then you can do your own thing too, and make all the quests, find the legendaries, just explore everything. And it was really awesome like that. Now, when Black and White, in my opinion, when all of the games after Generation 4 came out, they had potential to top them. Like Black and White, of course, had potential. X and Y, and especially Sun and Moon. Out of all of them, I think Sun and Moon had the biggest potential, in my opinion, to like really top and capture that feeling of amazingness we felt many years ago. Because all of these things that I've mentioned, they could have definitely implemented them in future Pokemon games, but they really didn't. When Sun and Moon were going to be the latest games and they're going to come out, and the data mine happened, and I learned all this shit that I did and how the region was going to be basically presented. It was going to be like 4 different islands based on Jamaica, and I'm thinking to myself, wow, just think of all the opportunity there. 4 different islands, you could surf to them maybe, and you could imagine if you can go underwater, and just so many different things you can explore and all the stuff you can do. The Ultra Beasts, lots of legendaries like that with awesome designs, really giving you that sort of alien, mysterious feeling. Just amazing. And I was thinking to myself, these are probably going to be the next best Pokemon games, because in my opinion, like I mean, I'm not going to make any friends by saying this, but I do believe that the best Pokemon games are probably the Gen 3 games, and I guess Gen 4 might be giving them a good run for their money. Gen 2 is awesome, Gen 1 is awesome, but let's not get into that. I know this isn't going to be a popular opinion. Uh, some people will agree, some people will just turn this into a fight. I get it. Maybe I'm biased, but like I do wonder if they is maybe it's about it has to do with maturity and age. Like maybe if they do make these awesome Pokemon games that are similar to how Pokemon games would be in the past, I wouldn't enjoy them as much because I'm older now. I'm an adult. I'm 25 basically. I don't know, but we'll see. We'll see what happens because they really didn't do this. After Gen 4, it seems like Pokemon went into a different direction, being simplified, being not so mysterious. You know, the whole thing with legendary Pokemon handed out to you, not really having any quests, not really having any mystery to it, majesty to it, epicness to it. I really miss that. In my opinion, this is what truly makes Pokemon games great and very memorable. That whole thing, you know, Pokemon games like Sun and Moon, they really just had a lot of potential that got wasted. You know, why couldn't we just surf to every island and through all those routes, all of the things you could explore, you know, all the stuff they could have hidden in there, you know, maybe put the legendary Pokemon, like I've always imagined the Guardians, let's say, Tapu Fini, Tapu Lele, Tapu Bulu, and Tapu Koko, you know, at least maybe Tapu Fini, let's say not all the other ones, but that Pokemon would have been hidden somewhere like in the sea routes. Maybe you go underwater to find it, or you go to a cave or something, but it would be like somewhere cast out in the sea, but it didn't happen like that. So it's just a few things that really just disappointed me, you could say. And once again, it's the same scenario. We get like a lot of this hype with Sword and Shield, and they're probably going to be good games. Like all of the Pokemon games, at their worst, they're good games either way. But they just won't be, once again, those games that are going to blow us out of the water. You know, let me talk about 4th Gen a bit too, because I also feel those games are really amazing for a number of reasons. Now, all the sort of gripes Tamashi Hiroka has about the pacing in that game, I can see them as being valid, but the thing is, it does have what Gen 3 has in common too, in that it doesn't hold your hand. You can do just about everything you want. There's a lot of side quests, a lot of optional areas, you know, a lot of legendaries and a lot of mystery in that game too. Like the events are awesome from Arceus, Shaman, and Darkrai. They're just epic, fucking amazing. Cresselia too. And it just expanded on all of the great things from Gen 3. Some of them, like the contests, maybe they were not so implemented well. But, you know, you have your secret bases, you have all that shit. You got the underground, that mini game that was great. Contests, like I've said, you know, the berries, and you had the mulch aspect added into that. You just had all that good shit over there. You know, all those great RPG mechanics, and you know, all that epicness that Gen 3 had, in my opinion. These are basically what I'm thinking here. You know, and many of these things, of course, you could apply them to Gen 2, even Gen 1 in a way. Like Gen 1, you know, you could say like the discovery of legendary birds as you go through the game. You know, you get a few hints, and you know, you can also like see Articuno in those goggle things in one of the sort of route, uh, those places where you go to change the route sort of thing, like the outposts, and you can actually see Articuno, that it's somewhere. You get sort of the picture, but then you still don't know exactly what it is. So just a lot of these aspects that really made those games like really cool. And I don't know why they don't do this anymore. Like they gotta hold our hand. You know, the Ultra Beast and Sun and Moon were also not exactly handled the way I would have liked them to be. They weren't bad the way you kind of do have to go and find them in the grass like roaming Pokemon and catch them. But I wonder if there was a better way. Like I do wonder. Uh, I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe it has to do with maturity and age. Maybe just it's the fact that we were experiencing those games when we were young that makes that special. I think it comes down to genuine exploration and level design. Like even some parts in Black and White, like the part where you catch Kyurem, the first Black and White games where Kyurem is basically just not even mentioned. Like you don't know jack shit about it. Kind of like how Rayquaza sort of was in Ruby. Like maybe you get like I think there's like a person that talks about a giant green dragon Pokemon flying, but that's all you get really. It's not tied in the story. It's just a completely optional Pokemon that you can get after you beat the Elite Four. And Kyurem was kind of handled like that in Black and White. I dug that a million times more than everything that happened in Black and White 2 with the whole fusion bullshit that doesn't even make any damn sense. You know, you kind of go in a big area that's really optional and you find it and you catch it, and it's a really epic area, like a big sort of plain area with nothing in it, and it was just cool like that. And I think we're really missing a lot of the stuff in the newest Pokemon games. It's just something that I can't quite put my finger on it, but this is what I want from the next Pokemon games, Sword and Shield, for them to do. Like, give me a lot of good exploration, a lot of areas that nobody holds my hand, a lot of just these maybe secrets, hidden legendary Pokemon, bosses, items, areas like that, and that maybe I do have to like go and look at them from a website like the old Maryland, like how it was, to find out everything that I need to do. Otherwise, the stuff is just so hidden, you can never figure it out, or maybe it just takes you very, very long, because that's how many of these things are in Mega Man Battle Network 3. Maybe they overdid that in some ways in that game. Like there's a lot of stuff that it's just almost impossible to figure out if you don't have a guide or something, I would say. But just these sort of aspects, if that even makes any sense. From epic trainer bosses like Red in Gold, Silver, and Crystal, and Steven in Emerald, the whole thing when you find Giratina in Diamond and Pearl, you got to go through that maze. There's all that fog. You gotta put in some work to find it in the first place. It's these sort of things that are missing from the new Pokemon games, I would say. I don't know. Maybe it's just like an age maturity thing, and it doesn't matter. Like it's just because we experienced them when we were young. But it's not like I was a really young kid when I was playing Diamond and Pearl, to be honest. Like I was in my late teens, you could say. And even Black and White, like the first Black and White game, it did have some good shit going for it. Like the legendary dogs in that game, they're kind of hidden, you could say. The whole thing with Landorus, Tornadus, and Thundurus is kind of cool as well. I just feel like, I guess the flaws in Black and White, it's just they removed a lot of content that was already in Gen 3 and Gen 4. It's like they went a few steps back in that regard. That's why I sort of don't look at them in the same regard. But yeah, on that note, I think I rambled long enough. I had a lot more shit to say, but you think about these things, and then when you hit the record button, many of those deep thoughts have already drifted away. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you guys subscribe and share this video with your friends. Maybe they want to get into some deep thoughts about Pokemon as a whole. They could listen to my opinion. You can leave your opinion in the comments. Tell me what you guys think. I really don't want to piss anybody off that really like the new gen games, but it's just my perspective, and I think a lot of people really feel that way. Like I've seen a few videos Tamashi Hiroka made talking about these sort of topics, about like even ORAS, even though that's a remake from Generation 3, it just feels like there's this shit missing from that game. Like it could have been so much more epic. And the other thing is that because the games, are newer, the newer games with newer technology, newer capacity for storage, they could really just be better in every regard. Like I've said, Sun and Moon could have easily have done everything that Gen 3, did and better. So it's kind of a shame. But anyways, guys, thank you for watching this video. Cerebral 4, and I'm out. We'll see.